Santa Claus has been murdered, but who killed Santa? It's time for a Murderville Murder Mystery.
Well, if it isn't the ghost of Christmas ass.
That's not complimentary.
Don't be distracted by all this Christmas crap. You're here for threat assessment. Mayor Palmer, don't you worry about it. Terry Seattle is on the case!
Hello and welcome to Screen OD, the channel for people who love TV, movies and streaming. My name is Tim. I'm an editor and a journalist who's been writing and talking about the media industry for more than 15 years. Now today we are talking about a very serious subject indeed. There has been a murder, and the murder is one of the most famous people on the planet. Yes, it's Santa Claus himself. And who would you need to sort out a murder of this magnitude? Well, you're going to need the Murderville team, and that means we're going to have to call in Terry Seattle, played by the brilliant Will Arnett, and he's going to have some special guests who are going to help him solve this murder mystery. But as always, the special guests have absolutely no idea what's going on.
What the fuck?
Okay, so what's this one all about? Well, if you're not familiar with what Murderville is, for a start, it's based on a UK series which originated on BBC Three called Murder in Successville. Now, Murderville is a murder mystery series which has a partially improvised element. Now, what happens is there has been a murder and there are people who are suspects and there are people who've got to work out what's gone on. Usually what's happening is the majority of people on the show are running through a script and they know what's happening. And then there are guests who come onto the show who have to improvise their way into the show and then have to work out what's going on. The Murderville series has had some big names on it over the last few years, including the likes of Conan O'Brien, Sharon Stone, Annie Murphy. It's had lots and lots of big names. In fact, Jennifer Aniston's been on it as well. So this is a show that has pedigree, and this time we are looking at a seasonal version of it where Santa has been murdered. The central character in the show is Terry Seattle, played by Will Arnett. He is a terrible detective who is pretty bad at trying to find out who's done it. However, he's there to hold the show together, drive things forward, and then ultimately ask the question, as the question you always have to have in a murder mystery is who done it. Now, on this seasonal episode of the show, we have two very good guests. Firstly, Jason Bateman, who of course you'll know very well if you know Will Arnett because they were in Arrested Development together. But of course, Jason Bateman has done lots and lots of other stuff, including most recently probably the show that ended this year after 4 glorious seasons on Netflix, Ozark, one of my favourites of all time. You also have the second guest, Maya Rudolph, who recently has been starring in Apple TV Plus's Loot, but also has a very long and illustrious career in acting and comedy and has lots of practice on Saturday Night Live, which will come in handy because she has to improvise all of her performance in this show, as does Jason Bateman.
Santa Claus is dead.
Jason, why don't you tell Maya everything that's happened?
Wait, really? Santa Claus is dead?
Now, I'm not going to get into too much detail about what happens in this show. Not that it really matters because the plot really isn't that important and whodunit really isn't that important either. What this is kind of like a extended Saturday Night Live sketch, or it's like an improvisation show that's kind of got a little bit out of control. It's very, very funny, but it's also very, very silly. Now, if you like the humour that you get from things like Arrested Development, things like Will Arnett at the centre of them, if you like the interplay between people that you get on Saturday Night Live, you'll see a lot of that from Maya Rudolph and Will Arnett, and of course Jason Bateman is just a great fun actor at the centre of it too. There's lots of good supporting performances from people around the edges who are throwing in clues and doing silly things to try and throw Jason Bateman and Maya Rudolph off the scent. But ultimately, this is some good old-fashioned Christmas fun. So if that's the sort of thing you're looking for, you'll do a lot worse than watching this comedy and perhaps having a laugh. I must warn you, it's probably not one to watch with the kids because although Santa's in it, he does get murdered very early on with a massive candy cane, spoiler alert there, and there is also quite a lot of swearing and language in it, and adult themes throughout, I think it's fair to say. However, this is something, if you're not afraid of all of those things, I'd recommend you give a go. And I think if you like this, you should head on over to Netflix. We're probably already on Netflix watching this, but you should go and watch the other episodes that are available on Netflix of the series because it's all very similar kind of silly fun. Murderville, Who Killed Santa, is available to watch right now in Netflix, so add it to your Christmas stocking and have yourself a telly Christmas. That's Merry Christmas, but with the word telly replaced there. Hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, why not hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Is that the subscribe thing? To Screen OD. We'll see you again for more reviews very soon.